I noticed that there were some questions about China e-commerce as well, and so I wanted to hit on that a little bit. There are several key points that we wanted to make sure that we were touching on. And all of this is also in the VO on the FAQs. Some of those FAQs have been updated. So if you haven't looked at it in the past couple of days, they are continually updating that to make sure that they have the most recent information there. So please take a look at that as much as possible and refer to that. But here are five or six key points, okay, that we wanted to really drive home, because this is really important to understand, because it's kind of a hard thing to understand, or it could be complex for some people that aren't used to doing business in China. Number one, ASEA does not operate an MLM business in China. Within the borders of China, we are not known as an MLM. And so it's important that we make sure we understand that if we have somebody that we have in contact, for example, here in the United States, but we have contact in China, we do not have an MLM in China. That person can sign up with an account in Hong Kong. And that's point two. ASEA will allow residents of mainland China to create an account with ASEA Hong Kong, with the ASEA Hong Kong entity through the cross-border e-commerce program. That allows them to get an ID number and also receive a replicated website and VO. Okay, at that point in time, once they have that VO, then they can place orders through their own VO, through the side menu that's here, and that is what the screenshot is, where they can start placing orders through their own VO. There are no subscription plans available at this time. That is part of the regulations that we're kind of bound to under the China e-commerce model as well. And then if someone that has signed up through the cross-border program uses their account in Hong Kong to enroll associates in an open market, they can earn fast start bonuses through the Hong Kong entity, okay? They can also earn their loyalty rewards points on subscription orders that are placed and shipped in any of those open markets. The other thing that we wanted to clarify as well is that the cases that for the individuals who are in China within the borders that are placing orders, the cases that they are ordering do have a CV value with them. That CV value is 100 CV, and that does pay out as though it were an on-demand order through our compensation plan to the sponsors who are outside of the confines of China or mainland China. And so those points are very important to understand. It can be a little bit difficult to not talk about vocabulary of network marketing because outside of China, we are all in the ASEA compensation plan, and we know that vocabulary. But when we talk about people that are generating businesses within the border, we need to drop all of that vocabulary in a sense. And so it's a little bit more difficult to talk about what type of business we have there. Now, I wanted to touch base on this. We are going to have a little bit of a question and answer session towards the end of this call, but I wanted to hit on that. So if you have some additional questions, we do have Adolfo Avalos on the line. He's our kind of resident expert of e-commerce in China. So as we go through and finish up, we'll open up the line so that you can ask additional questions. So
I have a question, Darryl.
Yes.
So I just need to clarify this. If somebody wants to be just a customer, somebody's in Beijing, their aunt lives in Beijing, they want to get the product, do they have to still set up an account with ASEA Hong Kong, or is that only if they want to be associates?
Hi, Alan. Good afternoon. Let me try to answer this question. They can. The reason why we want them to go through the VO and set up an account is because when this happens, ASEA on the back office will assign an ID to this person, an ASEA ID, and this is how we will track the volume to pay commissions. That's the reason why we ask them to go through the ASEA VO or replicated site. So if we want them want the volume to count towards commission, that's why we want them to go there to this through the VO or replicated site. They don't have to. They can use order and that's it. But for the purpose of generating volume, that's why we want them to go through these steps.
Yeah, I'm still not clear. So what I'm trying to get to the bottom of is, do you still have a customer option and an associate option?
No.
Or, okay,
no,
so there's no like Aunt Sue out there in Beijing. She just wants the product. In order for it to fit in part of the tree, she can't just go to put in somebody's ID number and order the product. She has to register to be a customer. Is that correct?
Yes, if you see it right here, when the way that they'll register, if you will, it's through a replicated site or a VO. So it has to be referred by somebody. An associate will have to refer him, and that's how they enroll. Now, something that we have to be clear, let's make sure we understand, there is not really enrollment in China. People are everybody is just a consumer. They're just buying product. There's no enrollment. That never happens. The only thing that happens is they provide some information to us, and with that we create an ID.
Okay, so they're a ASEA Hong Kong entity. They don't need a Hong Kong address. Like, they're not pretending to live in Hong Kong. They're going to use their Beijing address, but the system is going to set up the ASEA Hong Kong is going to set up an account number for them, but they don't have to have a Hong Kong address. Like, they're not pretending to be a Hong Kong resident, correct?
Exactly. They're okay. Not pretending to be a Hong Kong resident. They're not being enrolled as a Hong Kong resident because there's no enrollment.
Okay.
But there's an ID that is generated.
Okay. So then I apologize that I'm asking all the questions here, but I think I might be checking some boxes for other people here as well. But then, so somebody registers. So I'm going to go for Aunt Sue in Beijing. Where is the link? So she doesn't have something to log into. Where how does she get that link? She doesn't have a VO. I mean, she's not going to log into my VO. I want to send her a link.
Correct. So that's where the person outside China, or the person that is enrolling, comes to play. There's two ways to do it. You can either send your replicated site, and in the replicated site, there is a place that says cross-border e-commerce, and they can enroll there, or you can help them through your VO, cross-border e-commerce registration. You can help them to register there. And when that happens, what ASEA will do is generate the ID for this person, but also when you're registering a person in the cross-border e-commerce, we will ask for some information. At this point, we will ask for their name, their date of birth. We will ask for their email, and also we'll ask them to set up a password. that will help to will come in play later on, because once the ID is registered and is created, they will receive an email with their ID, and they can go into they will have their own VO at that point, and they can log into their VO in the future to place other more orders.
Okay, so I'm almost done. Thank you. This is getting clear. So I went to my Team ASEA website. There's join, buy, join, and cross-border e-commerce. So I see it's now an option on the front page of the Team ASEA website. So that's how they can go in. They register. They set up their account. Now they've got a VO, just like a customer. No subscription, but kind of like a preferred customer, but without subscription. And now they can log into that and place orders that will be shipped directly to them in.
Correct.
Okay, second question. That was the first one. Second question. So then it says, if someone signs up through the cross-border program, we're looking at number 5 here, and then they use their account. So are they able to then, with that account that's been set up that we've just walked through, are they also allowed to take on the shape of an associate? Like, are they able to make referrals and earn commissions?
At that point, you remember they have a VO. So from the VO, they can enroll people outside China. They can do that. They have the VO just like any associate does.
Yeah, it'll be a rep site, Alan, that they can send people a rep site. They will have it will look just like yours. Okay.
So really everybody's signing up as an associate really then?
In the Hong Kong platform, they will have an associate account. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they can just be a customers, or they can actually.
And then in the China e-com platform, they can only order as a customer. There's no registration or anything on. When I say registration, I mean associate registration on that side. But if those two accounts are linked,
if we want the volume to count for commissions, they have to go through these steps.
Yes, that's correct. Exactly right.
Okay, and then they're free to. I mean, basically, then they're free to build a business around the world.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
And then how would Smart Wallet work with that? Would that just be?
A Smart Wallet does business in China.
It's actually, Adolfo, it's actually e-wallet. Sorry. Yeah. It's the e-wallet that we're using there. It's the same way that currently.
Same as Malaysia.
Yeah, Malaysia, Norway, Sweden. Yeah, they've allowed it. They'll do the background check just like they do in Smart Wallet, but they will allow people in China to cash out to a Chinese bank account.
Okay, that's my questions done.
And just
thank you.
One last clarification, just to make sure we're all on the same page. The commission earnings will be in Hong Kong dollar, and at the time of cash out gets converted into local currency within China.
Okay, thank you.
Great. It looks like we have some questions from Trish.
Yeah, thanks. So it's my understanding that the link that the company sent out isn't connected to an associate. So someone could go in and order directly from the company. And the only way that they get connected to an associate is if the associate gives them their link to their replicated site. Is that right?
When you say the link that the company sent out, we didn't send a link out that will not go through a rep site.
Yeah.
So, okay, because, all right, well, I had a lot of reports from people in Asia that people were able to go in and order directly from the company, not only through
it is true that people can go directly to the to this site. However, we're getting reports, Trish, there's been 2 orders in since we opened. So have people done it? Yes, but this is something we want to ask you is just to train your downlines to go through the replicated site and the VO.
Yeah, Trish, the only way that that website gets out is if it's shared by someone who went through the platform to get it. They won't Google search. It's not going to come up on a Google search. It's not going to come up. They would have to put in the actual website for that product. And we are not publicizing that. And we're telling all of the distributors and associates that they should not publicize that either. They should send people through rep sites in order to get there.
Mhm. So I'm, okay, so there's been 2 orders through that link that where people can order directly from the company? Okay, well, that's helpful information. Okay, I'm just curious. It seems kind of like Amazon in the US. I mean, I know it's not exactly, but I'm wondering why people who are essentially customers are getting wholesale price rather than having to pay retail price.
So there's, through this platform, there isn't a distinguishment between, they cannot be an associate in China. So
Right. So they're a customer. So
they're a customer for that purpose. But if they're building a business through the Hong Kong platform, through our Hong Kong platform, they are working through that. There's no way they can order directly in China at the wholesale price. That we don't have an ability to have different price levels on the China platform. So either the option was either everybody that's buying in China has to buy as a retail customer, or we have everyone at the associate price level, and they come in and the volume flows at the associate price level as well. So the volume flows at that same 100 PV level.
Okay, so when people order from Amazon, so is it possible for people who order directly from the company, even though there hasn't been very many, to have to pay the 160, the retail price to?
No, there's no way for us to have that price level distinguishment. And that volume, and I don't know, Adolfo, if you've already talked about how that volume flows, but because I jumped on late, I apologize, but that will still flow back through the pools through that. But there is no way through Check Match and through EMP and Diamond Pool.
And let me just address a little bit about pricing, Trish. The way price is done for this program, it is regulated by the Chinese government. We have to actually register the price with customs and add the tax, so that price cannot change. Once we declare this price stays. We cannot have different pricing, and so yeah, it's impossible for us to even change prices right now. We would have to go through a whole process to change the price, and I mean, even it would be impossible to have different prices for the same product.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Trish. Any